An extraordinary response last night in Mount Gambier to a presentation by one of Australia's most successful authors. Andrew Matthews' pet topic is happiness, and he certainly struck a chord with his audience at the Sir Robert Helpman Theatre. He's a man with a message on relationships, setbacks and even drugs. Andrew Matthews made an impression last night on an audience as diverse as his topics.
It's about our focus, it's what we look for, we find in life what we look for.
At the end of 2 hours, the reaction from young people and adults was the same.
Particularly compelling, very relevant, and his ability to connect with young people is quite extraordinary.
So to the point and so obvious and yet so inspiring. I thought it was a really wonderful night.
No one can go away and feel quite the same.
I did it my way. Thank you.
When Nick Faldo sang "I Did It My Way" after winning the British Open in July, he wasn't quite telling the truth. It seems the world's #1 golfer had some help at Muirfield. From this man, in fact, Andrew Matthews, an Adelaide cartoonist and portrait painter who turned international best-selling author 4 years ago when he published Being Happy, a handbook to greater confidence and security. Among the millions who read it was one Nick Faldo, and after his dramatic win, British newspapers carried numerous tributes to the book from an understandably impressed Nick Faldo.
Adelaide's Andrew Matthews has found fame worldwide by telling people how to be happy.
It's not for me to tell you how to live tonight. I had a fellow say to me, Andrew, you write these books on being happy. He said, what if I don't want to be happy? He said, what if I want to be miserable? And I said, well, then you should be miserable if that makes you happy.
Andrew Matthews is the author of bestsellers like Follow Your Heart and his latest work, Being a Happy Teenager. He's sold millions of copies of these books in over 20 languages. Your success has been nothing short of phenomenal. I mean, you started publishing back in the late 80s. It's been about a decade and a couple of years since you've translated into, like I say, more than 20 languages, I mean, around the world.
It's not about luck, it's more about persistence. You know, gravity works the same for everyone, and so do the principles of happiness and a successful life. Sometimes we can get to feel like we're victims, but we're really not. Pain is inevitable. We are all going to experience disappointment and frustration, but misery is a choice. I may be talking to CEOs, or I may be talking to surgeons, or I may be talking to teenagers in a high school.
If we look for good things, we find them. And if we look for bad things, we find them. And happiness is very much in our hands.
You know, the other day I dropped by the bookstore in Point Loma and saw this huge display featuring the books of our next guest. It was one of the biggest displays I've ever seen. He is a publishing phenomenon whose books sell out as fast as they can keep them in stock. Author and cartoonist Andrew Matthews' first book, Being Happy, made the international bestsellers list. His latest, Making Friends, is doing the same thing. Andrew Matthews has a remarkable way of giving new life to old truths and philosophies, gentle philosophies, as he calls them. What amazed me, I think most of all, is the success on the bestseller list in India. I mean, they can't keep them enough. Singapore, Hong Kong.
Andrew Matthews' books are bestsellers in 31 languages, including Chinese. And Andrew also presents in Mandarin.
我过去常常认为，快乐好像流行性感冒，也许你被传染上，也许你没有。然而，我发现，快乐不是偶然的事，是我们每天的选择。
当我们怪别人的时候，我们能改变什么呢？
Good morning and welcome back to AM Singapore. Now, the author and illustrator of the bestseller Being Happy book, as well as Making Friends, claims to have the recipe to happiness. And judging by the number of copies sold, people are hungry for it as well. Well, now he's come up with another book of life-affirming strategies. It's called Follow Your Heart. Really wonderful to have you. Do you classify yourself in that league of gurus?
Follow Your Heart is the book that I wished I'd had. What I am delighted about is that many of the experts and the psychologists and psychiatrists around the world use and recommend my books.
Crash.
ตลาดหุ้นตก
Handbags.
You've addressed executives from over 500 multinational companies on this subject. From their experiences, what's the biggest obstacle to finding happiness and success?
One of the biggest obstacles to happiness is that we postpone it. We say, I'll be happy when.
His latest title offers 52 colorful tips on how to find happiness now.
So no one is going to be happy 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. The point is, how quickly do we bounce back?
It has been a great success, I know, in many countries, Korea, Brazil, Mexico. You just came back from there.
My next guest, Andrew Matthews. He's the author of his latest book, Follow Your Heart. This is book number 4. He's a cartoonist, he's an author, and I'm told he's one of the greatest motivational speakers you could hear anywhere, not just in Australia, but anywhere in the world. We do welcome him to GMA. Hello,
Thank you,
Andrew. Nice to see you.
All the way from Australia. I can't thank you enough for being with us today. Your message is one of empowerment, and that people don't have to be stuck in the past, they don't have to be stuck in their own misery, that each one of us can create happiness for ourselves and for others. God bless you so much for everything that you do.
Part of Andrew's time is spent lecturing around the world, and over 1 million people have attended his presentations. He has run programs for over 500 international corporations.